tennis players think to add power to your strokes that you need to lift heavy weights or do a lot of extra footwork drills on the tennis court, but actually there's a lot of things you can do at your house right now that will help you with that power element on the tennis court. One of those really important things is to help with your lengthening and stretching. As I've told you a million times, we don't do enough stretching as a tennis community anyways. And so these two things that we're gonna go over today are gonna help you with that flexibility, that lengthening, that stretching that you see among those top level tennis players. Power on your serve comes from not only your core, which is really, really important, but also your leg strength and really pushing into the ground, and arm strength as well. But it's not just about your arm strength, it's about being able to use the different parts of your body. So this first stretch that we're gonna do called downward dog is really important for not only flexibility and lengthening the spine, which will help you with your serve and your overhead, but also really strengthening your legs, your hamstrings, your shoulders, and calves and ankles as well. So the first thing I want you to do is just to spread your fingers out wide on the mat. You don't want your hands to be like this. You want to actually cover as much ground as you possibly can. This will help you to get a good stretch in your wrists, which again, remember, we're trying to prevent injuries as well. So wrist injuries are really prevalent in tennis. And so if you can work on strengthening and having more flexibility there, you're going to prevent more injuries. Now from here, all I want you to do is get your feet into about shoulder width apart into a comfortable position. You don't want them to be too close to where you feel crammed up, but you also don't want to be all the way back into a plank position as well. So just shoulder width apart. Now, if you can put your heels down to the ground, that's great. If you can't, you can always keep your heels up a little bit, as well as you can keep your knees bent if you're struggling there. If you're feeling too much strain in your hamstrings or your glutes, make sure you just slightly bend your legs. If you can, you want to get to where your legs are straight. Your head is going to be in between your arms and right between your shoulders, really relaxed. You don't want to have any strain in your neck at all, but you just want to have it right between. And the goal is to take a couple really deep breaths here and really get your calves. I feel it in my calves. Everyone's going to feel it in a little bit different position for sure, but I feel it in my calves a lot. And you're going to feel it in your hamstrings and flexibility here, working on your ankles. You can kind of move around here as well. But the goal is really not only to strengthen through your legs, but to make sure that you're getting that flexibility in your wrist, flexibility in your ankles. So that's going to help you prevent injuries as well. If you really like these types of yoga poses, go over to easytennisyoga.com. We've given you a free download that you're going to be able to get all kinds of different poses that are going to help you with your tennis game from home so that you're going to be able to see improvements once we're back on the tennis court. Now remember, through all of this, we are not yoga instructors. This is just something that we've found that really helps with flexibility, stretching, and lengthening to help you with your tennis games, and we want to share it with you. So it doesn't have to be perfect when you're doing these either. Just make sure that you're not feeling any strain, and if you're feeling anything that's straining or hurting, please stop and don't do that stretch. So the second stretch we're going to do is pigeon pose. Now you do want your hands to be really wide on the mat here. And from this position, which you can start from the downward dog, all I want you to do is you're going to push your legs back, your right leg back just a little bit, and you're going to bring your left leg, left knee, a little bit outside of your left arm and place it on the mat. Now, depending upon how flexible you are is where this leg is going to be. The further up you are, the more flexible you are, the further back you are, that's totally fine too. Whatever feels comfortable to you. Now from here, you're just going to lay your right leg down, foot all the way flat on the mat, and you're just going to stretch and feel that stretch in your hips, in your glutes. And then from here, if you feel comfortable, you can go down to your elbows or all the way down here to the floor as well. So I'm going to do the other side now, and this is a really good modification for if you're feeling a little bit of strain or a little too much stretch. You can grab a pillow or anything that can help you and get into that same position, but now I'm gonna bring my right knee in, and from here, you're gonna see I'm gonna pull this pillow right under my booty area, my hip area, and now I can really stretch here without feeling a whole lot of extra strain. Remember, if you're feeling any strain or anything that's hurting, please stop and discontinue the stretch for sure. But this is really great to open up the hips and really dig deep into the breathing side and really stay relaxed into this position. You can move from upwards, down, deeper, over and over again if you want to really get a good hip opener stretch on each side. But not only does it prevent groin and hip injuries when you get back to the tennis courts, it's really great to work on your posture. And posture is so important in the ready position. In ready position, you're gonna use so often on the tennis court. And if you're in ready position and you're hunched over, you're not gonna be able to be as efficient as you possibly can. So working on this to help your posture is gonna be huge once we're back to the tennis courts. Now we're gonna move into the flow between these two. And this is something you can just add to your morning routine right when you get up, but it's a really, really great way to get your day going and to start by lengthening, stretching, and working on your flexibility for your tennis game. So we're gonna start with the downward dog into this position here. Downward dog, a couple breaths. Stay here as long as you want. You can move your knees back and forth. You can keep them bent, whatever is comfortable for you. Really, really push back and lengthen as much as possible here. Then from here, we're going to move the right leg back slightly, then left knee comes forward into pigeon pose. I'm gonna go down to elbows, couple breaths, up again, down again, a little further, couple breaths, up again, back into downward dog. Really make sure to look at your hands and your feet and make sure they're in a good position. Then from here, I'm going to move my left leg back just here, come in with my right knee, left leg goes down into a good stretch to the elbows, back up. Again, working on the posture, back staying elongated, and back up, back into downward dog, and a few breaths. So if you could just put in these two simple poses into your morning routine, you can do it just once through like I did, or you can do it a couple times through. The goal is to really slow down and get a lot of deep breaths in each of the poses. It doesn't have to be super fast, just really slow to really work on that strengthening, lengthening, and flexibility that you're gonna want to see improvements on when you get back to the tennis courts. If you want more really great, easy yoga things that you can do to improve your tennis from home, go to easytennisyoga.com right now and get the free, completely free download of all these great positions and great poses that you're gonna be able to do from the comfort of your own home.